My next guest is one of the top bantamweight contenders in Europe. You can catch his next fight at Cage Warriors 164. Well, he'll be fighting in Newcastle, England against Aiden Steven in search of his 10th professional victory. Mr. Daan Duijs joins me today from the Netherlands. Dan, welcome to the show. I'm a big fan of you. Very impressive performance last fight, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for the invite. Thank you.
Well, I did want to pick up on you. I first found out about you about a year and a half ago. I saw your very first fight at Cage Warriors. And what has your experience been like with this promotion over the past year and a half?
It's been great. Sometimes it just feels like big family because now I've been there for 3 or 4 times, 3 times for my own and 1 time for a teammate. And now everyone knows each other and stuff. So it's a great spirit every time.
Your last fight was at Cage Warriors 158 in Rome, and I have to tell you that was probably one of my favorite performances of yours as of late. You went up against a guy with a ton of experience, and he demonstrated some things over that fight that kind of surprised me. I really wasn't expecting. Did he surprise you with anything?
I think I wasn't expecting him to go out just start with the kicks and everything at the beginning of the fight. So that's why I went for the takedown. But yeah, after a couple more kicks of him, I thought, okay, now it's my turn. So that's when I switched it up.
Your opponent, Alexander Pirev, I looked at him. His aggression surprised me. And I would also go as far as to say his takedown defense surprised me a little bit. Like, that guy did not want to go down at all. And were you surprised by that?
Yeah, really surprised. Yeah, I was going for the takedown, and immediately he was trying to stand back up. And yeah, he even got the reverse on me. So I ended on my back, but he wasn't gonna stay on top. He wanted me to go up. So
Dan, you hurt him badly at least 2 times from what I'm able to see on the tape. You hurt him with a right at first, and that's where really things started to kind of go downhill from him. Did you knew that you hurt him with that right?
Yeah. He was kicking, and after a couple of kicks, I think, okay, now it's over. Now it's my turn. That's when I came over with the right hand, and he went down immediately, but stood up very quickly. That's when I went forward and keep the pressure on. And yeah, after a couple more strikes, then one hook landed and he fell down. So that was the end of it.
Now, and I looked at it again right before we hopped on this. I looked at that fight again, and were you faking the level change, like wanting him to put his hands down, and when was your plan to come up on top?
Yeah, because I was going for the takedown at the beginning of the first round, and I got the takedown. So I thought he's probably gonna think I'm wanting to go to make the takedown again. So yeah, but you can see his eyes are looking down, so he wasn't expecting the other hook.
It was very impressive. I think of you, I think of wrestling, I think of grappling, and you were able to end this fight with your striking. And I've seen you win lots of fights before, but like this one seemed kind of special to you. Can your teammates were all there. There was like pure elation after you won this fight.
Every fight, or almost every fight, when I'm getting the finish, I just go crazy. I don't know what it is. Just a lot of energy and emotion that has to go out. So yeah, but it feels great to have a finish like this, another submission like I have a lot of in my amateur career, but also in my pro career. So it felt great to have it like this.
You sustained absolutely no damage in the fight from what it looked like to me. You looked like a pretty guy after that fight. No marks, no bruising, nothing like that. Was the plan to fight again before the end of the year?
Yeah. I told Ian, the matchmaker, I told him, I said, I want to fight again. I maybe want to fight 2 times again if it's possible. But no, it was hard for Ian to get another opponent. So I'm very glad that he could find Aiden Stevens at the end of the year. So it just after this fight, I fought 3 times this year. So that's good. Next year, 3, 4, maybe 5 times. Just see how it goes, and then yeah, it's perfect.
What's your experience been like with the fans and stuff over there? They're kind of a rowdy bunch sometimes, but other foreigners have like come into England, and like after a while, they stop seeing like, oh, it's just some Dutch kid that's coming up. Like they'll actually like flip the script and actually start going for you. Like Tobias Harrell is a great example. They bring him over from Sweden, and it's like, oh, this is the Swedish guy. We don't like this guy, and then he puts on these amazing performances. Now he's like a fan favorite. Do you sense that like happening with you as well?
You know what the thing is with English fans, if they see that you are just go in there and just want to fight and just keep going for it, then at the end of the night, even if you're fighting an English guy, they're gonna make some noise for you. So that's what I like about the English crowd. They are crazy. They're always loud. They are always singing and stuff. And like I said, if they see that you are really trying to win the fight and you keep going and just go for it, then they have respect for that, and then they're gonna cheer you on.
Do you have a venue? You fought over there a few different times now. Is there one particular arena that you like performing in?
Oh yeah, it was Manchester. Unfortunately, I lost the fight, but the crowd and the atmosphere, it was amazing. Also, with the walkout, everyone is standing next to the catwalk, making silly faces and stuff. Yeah, I'm not getting. I don't think much about it when I go in there, but after the fight, and I'm looking back at it, and I just can smile about it.
You'll be fighting a really tough guy, Aiden Steven, and hey, fighters fight. This is what you guys do, and this has got to be in a matchup when you got his name from Cage Warriors. You probably smiled because you're like, that's a guy I want to fight. Like this is the fight for me. Can you tell me a little bit like when you got his name back from Cage Warriors? Was this what you were expecting?
To be honest, I don't know the kid before they came up with his name. I think I only saw a picture of him once. That's it. So I didn't know anything about him. But when we accepted the fight, just had we watched a couple of his fights and just see how he moved, and yeah, it looks like a good fighter. Also a ground fighter, I'm thinking, but the striking he is also very confident. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a great fight. Great fight.
You broke down some things about your opponent that I witnessed as well when I watched some of his previous fights. He has a good record. I think he's a good fighter. And just overall, when you look at him, like what makes him like why are guys not having success against him when they fight him? Why does he have so many wins in your opinion?
Oh, it's a hard question. He is a Scottish guy. He just comes to fight. He doesn't want to lose, obviously. But he is. I think he's a little bit taller, lanky, and yeah, I think he is sometimes maybe with the ground game as well. He has a little bit of an awkward style with the guillotines and stuff like this, and the kimuras. So I think that's one of the keys that he is winning. Yeah, and like I said, in striking, he's confident as well. So he's not afraid to stand and bang. So yeah.
You've been in MMA for a long time, but I also feel like there are other things about your game that a lot of us don't even know about yet that you've maybe kept secret because you haven't had to show it quite yet. And you showed flashes of that in the last fight by putting a guy out with the striking. That was something that made me like pause for a little bit and think like, I I want to know like what's possible with this guy. Like, what can he achieve? Like, can you put him in a very big fight? And I think with a victory over this opponent, you to me would seem to be the next challenger for the bantamweight title.
Yeah, if you're gonna ask my coaches, they probably gonna say the same thing. Um, you haven't seen a lot of me, only a small part of it, because like you said, most of the times when I went for the takedown in my previous fights, when I went for the takedown, I got the submission or the ground and pound TKO. So I didn't have to show much of I couldn't show much of my striking. um, yeah, but I think it's also because I feel confident on the ground, so I don't, why not go to the ground. But yeah, now if they want to stand up, if they stop the takedown, okay, no worries, we stand up, we fight.
To get an opportunity for a big fight, to get an opportunity to fight for the title, you'll have to beat Aiden Steven. We've talked a little bit about him, but I don't want to talk about him. I want to talk about you. Like, when you think about your skills and how you match up against him, obviously I look at you, I'm like, oh, well, Dan knows how to grapple. Steven, he also knows how to grapple, but do you still feel that you have a grappling advantage over your opponent?
Yeah, sure. I believe in my own success. But like you said, he's a good ground fighter as well. I don't know. Maybe he's a black belt BGG. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously he has great ground skills. But yeah, if you're gonna look at the history of MMA, you're gonna see a lot of black belts or brown belts or the being choked out or anything like this. So I'm not too worried about it. Uh, if you don't make a mistake, or if you don't make a mistake, then you're gonna win the fight. That's it. But the other guy, your opponent, is gonna wanting to do the same thing. So yeah, I can see it go anywhere, go to the ground, keep it on the feet. It can be a finish anywhere.
And one kind of final question for you, Dan, without getting into specifics, because I want to watch the fight like everybody else. What do you need to do to secure the victory over your opponent here in a couple of weeks?
I just have to keep going. Just keep going forward. Put the pressure on him, and I just have to do what I'm good at. Just show the rest of the world, and I hope you and all the rest of the fans and my coaches and everyone can see my real potential in the fight.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you tune in to Cage Warriors 164. It'll be available on UFC Fight Pass. You can catch Dan fight on that platform. And Dan, an opportunity for you. If there's anyone, sir, that you would like to thank or anyone that you need to talk about before we let you go, let's do it.
I just want to thank my team already, my coaches, Dwayne van Helvoort, Jivan Akihari, all my teammates, maybe my girlfriends, and I just want to thank everyone, and just gonna go for it.
All right, Dan, I appreciate your time, sir. Thank you very much.